Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you got your coffee. Doesn't have to be decaf this time. All right, let me go do that there. Good, glad you could join me. This is Coffee with the Cowbell. All right, I think I got everything lined up, and I am hoping you can hear me okay. So we are good to go. I'm your host, Ricardo Wilkins, and here on an early morning Saturday. If you're with me, that means you're a fanatic about teams as well. You like to wake up early, grab a cup of coffee, and just talk about it. And that's what I'm going to do today. I have my coffee solidity sessions are at aka.ms/coffee for teams. I have my decaf edition in the evenings, either Tuesday or Thursday. I'm still working out a consistent time. And then mornings, this is a little earlier than I've done in the past. So again, I'm still experimenting with time. So see how this works for you. If you got any feedback, let me know on the various channels. All right. So what I wanted to talk about, and of course, if you jump on the chat, I'm happy to talk about whatever you want to talk about. But what I was going to talk about was a couple things that came up from a best practices perspective just this week for me. Usually when I do streams or webinars, it seems like every time I'm able to pull from something that literally just happened, over the last few days with the customer or just with my own usage of Teams and general collaboration. And that is the case today as well. Let me switch over here. So a couple things. Let's start with the first one. So let me go. Let me find. Okay, this is fine. So channel meetings. I've had plenty of people who complain that the channel meetings don't show. Let me back up. I create a channel meeting for my team and realize nobody knows or knew that the channel meeting existed. Why? Because they didn't get an email. It didn't show up on their calendar as we would expect it to. Channel meeting certainly got created and certainly able to be joined, but we expect an email notification. We expect to see it on our calendar. So I'll start by saying I don't know. I'm not answering that in the official way of when that should work and when it shouldn't work, because for one, I've seen that work with no intervention. So there is some scenario where that works magically. I've seen more scenarios though where an intervention is required by the team owner to make that work as expected. And that's what I'm going to show today. So if your channel meetings are working fine and showing up in your calendars automatically for all your users, you're good to go. If by chance it isn't, here is what might be happening. Okay. So what it is the duct tape isn't sticky enough. And by that I mean the old school Office 365 group in the background might need some tweaking. I've got a small video on my YouTube channel that talks about the steps for getting to these settings that I'm about to show. If you need a refresher, but essentially we need to tweak some settings to get this to work the way we want. Now, before I even go there, I keep backing it up. I will say that there is a step in between. So here I am in a team, and what we're essentially talking about is a channel meeting. Let's get on the same page there. A channel meeting is a meeting that I'm gonna schedule here in the channel. I could also do it from calendar, but let's do it here. I'm creating a meeting in which, because I did it there, if you can see here, this is the channel, and it has set this meeting to be in that particular channel. I'm going to close this for a sec to show you that I could do that even here in calendar, new meeting. The channel here is empty, but I can manually add the channel that I want. So either way works. And let's just call this coffee test 1. In the case of a channel meeting, I don't need to add any attendees. By definition, everyone in the team or the channel is able to view it, so I can leave that blank. I will say leaving it blank is what potentially causes this problem, right? Because if I add attendees, then no matter what tweak I'm about to show, they'll get it. I'm going to leave it blank to kind of make the point here. So no attendees, all these other details and so forth. I'm going to hit send. All right, you can see it there, kind of getting started. Now, as the creator, it'll always be on my calendar, but what I've seen is it won't hit some folks' calendar. We're letting that bake for a second. We'll go back to the channel, and we see that channel meeting represented by, you know, something like this, right? And this is what we want to be in all of our team members' calendars as well. What I want to start with though is, let's say this isn't working for you. One in between though is to make sure that your users, I've seen this as well, that at least your users have their channel notifications set. In my case, I'm using custom, and we'll see, let's see what actually the setting is here. Apparently Teams hasn't had its coffee yet, because that shouldn't take anywhere near that long. I'm gonna come out of that, try it again. That's nice, it's real nice. Let me try another channel here. All right, it's not important. We'll keep going, because essentially what we want is something like all activity, let's say, and it looks like that has set for me. If a person has on this channel all activity set, it doesn't fix it getting to their calendar. It will at least give them an alert. So that's kind of at least you know, if nothing else works, at least they would get an alert in their Teams feed. Doesn't give them an email or unless it's a missed notification, but doesn't give them their calendar that we want. But I did want to call that out because that is at least, and people should be aware of turning on their channel notifications, period. And so even more so if you want to keep up with scheduled meeting. I'll also keep going to say that I've also seen and recommended too that if you think you're in the situation where people aren't getting the notifications, when I schedule a channel meeting, I follow it up with a reply to the whole team, right? In this case, let me make that bigger. Oops, I hit the wrong button there. Yeah, so at team is what I was typing there. That gives you the ability to do a notification for the whole team, and then I say something about the. Let me make this whole thing a little bigger. I say something about the fact that the channel meeting has been created. So again, I think I've come up with that best practice just because of having not seen the meeting get in there. So those are two, I don't know, call them fail safes. I really don't call them a workaround because they're not really getting the ultimate thing done, but those will help, making sure the channel notifications are on, following up with the reply, all these things. And now that I'm thinking about it, the last workaround or fail safe would be, remember that if I go into these details, yes, it's in a channel, but essentially it is just a Teams meeting. So the fact that I've got mine here, should be in my, there it is, very tiny in my calendar. I mean, this is something I can forward, right? Shouldn't have to do that extra step and forward it to the team. I certainly use this to forward to people who aren't a part of the channel. They won't get the full experience of the channel participants, but that's a way to have a channel meeting and bring like 1 or 2 other people in. But again, this link is still usable even if, even though it's a channel meeting and whatnot. So even if I need to, Control C and either post this in a Teams meeting, email, whatever. So there's lots of ways to get this done. I don't have, it's not like if this whole channel meeting Outlook thing doesn't work, then the channel meeting is useless. I'm just trying to make that point. All right. So that's me talking about all the little fail safes for this problem. But let's talk about fixing the problem for real. So in this case, let's say this did not go through. What are we supposed to do here? Usually the issue is the Outlook group settings. So how do I get there? I've asked over and over to the interwebs if they got a better way of getting here. I think this is the only way, which is, or I guess the most reliable way. Where we're trying to get is the group settings of our team, and our groups are typically shown here, as you can see. And in this case, the group I want is shown. The reason I'm not using this approach is because usually all of my groups aren't listed here. Usually the one I'm interested in isn't listed here. And even if we are in Outlook Web, wrong user. Let's go here. I think this is me. Yep. If I go to Outlook Web, let's see. I want to just drive this point home. Outlook. And shout out to my friends that have joined so far. Yep, I see you, Dan. I see you, Mark. Good morning, everybody. Groups. Again, 2 here. In this case, this user doesn't have a lot of groups, so it kind of looks like all his groups are showing. But when you're like me and probably like you, and you're in 30 and 40 teams, they do not all show down here, which is why I don't rely on coming here to get to group settings. What I rely on is going into the team of the group I'm interested in, because to my point, I'm in Delete Me and FAQ, an FAQ plus bot team here. Those did not show, as you just saw. So that made my point there, which is good. I like when my points are confirmed. Where do I go? I go to the team that I want to find the settings for. I go to the SharePoint site. This is, I agree, this is not very intuitive. You would not expect to have to go this way. Now this is interesting. Wait. Let me see here. We go to the SharePoint site, and I am looking for conversations over here on the side. And I think because this is because of the kind of site that is, I'm not going to get that. I'm going to come over here, try it from here. There we go. Those other 2 sites are part of some canned demo content. I think that's why they look different. In fact, I believe they were sites that were attached to teams after the fact. That's why they look different. This is a native site created from a team. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, same thing applies. We go to that team. We go to the 3 dots, open in SharePoint. We'll see conversations on the side. You would think that that's your team's conversations. It is not. It is essentially the conversations of your old school email distribution list that hopefully you are avoiding, and that's the whole reason you're using Teams. Okay, so conversations takes me over to Outlook and drops me directly into, even without showing it over in groups here, the Office 365 group of the team I was in. This is where, and you may not have ever even seen this or taken a look, and that's because, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to. This is where the email distribution list messages are shown, and where we can then go to a couple things like the group calendar, but we want to go to the three dots and to the settings. Oops. Okay, and hopefully you can see that okay. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. These are the settings for the group, the Office 365 settings. So there's one thing, so this one here would help. This is more like where you'd have to go tell your users, hey, everybody go to your settings and make sure you got this set so you don't miss the events. And that messaging, I don't see that, I've never seen that go over well with end users, nor should it, all right? But I believe this would help you get those messages. However, I believe the better setting is this edit group. As the owner of the team, you take responsibility for setting this correctly. End users won't have this setting, but as an owner of the group, I'm going to go in here. And I've got a few settings here related to the group, like description and whatnot. The one I'm interested in here is this guy. Subscription. Members will receive all group conversations and events in their inboxes. That's exactly what we want. They can stop following this group later if they want to. So, meaning the owner am deciding this for the whole team. It's probably what the whole team wants, but if by chance they don't, they can still undo it. So that is the checkbox that I want, and then I hit save. And I think what you should expect to see at that point is the behavior you expect. Those meeting notifications will drop right into their calendar, and everyone will be happy, and they will sing your praises for many years. Okay. Discard that. All right. So we learned a couple things there, which is how to get here when we don't see it there, and that settings piece. All right. So doing that brings back the happiness of the channel meeting. And just, really quickly, why do I want a channel meeting? In a nutshell, one, I like the fact that it's self-documenting, for the channel, the existence and the occurrence of that meeting stays within the channel. The chat for that meeting is a part of the channel. If we were to kind of do a full test here, I'll go ahead and join this one. And you'll see that, obviously I'm the only one in there, but you'll see another benefit of the channel meeting. If we go back to the channel, is that when it's in progress, people get this notification and they see it in progress. Even if they're coming to the channel for other work, they'll see it in progress. They'll see not all, but they'll see a lot of bubble heads for the people that are in the meeting, whether it's being recorded, how long it's been going, and make it very easy to join in. The analogy I give for the channel meeting is that it's like a meeting in the conference room with the door open, that you as a team member can walk by and realize, oh, my team is in here meeting, and just stumble right in and join them, right? It's open. It's unlike a meeting you would create from Outlook that is only in the calendars of the people you invited. So I don't know if I'd call it a secret meeting, but I mean, it's only discoverable by the people you invited or forwarded to. This one is a meeting that I didn't invite anybody. In this case, maybe I invited 2 people out of the 10 in the team, but by making it a channel meeting, I'm to some degree implying that it's open for anyone to join. I had a great and yet terrifying example of that early on in my team's usage. I made a channel meeting in a team with a large number of people, many of whom were couple levels above me. It was really a meeting meant for a couple of my peers. Um, but because of it's a channel meeting, and because of how it, in this case, it worked perfectly in terms of put it in on everyone's calendars, so everyone knew about it. What ended up happening, long story short, my 2-person meeting turned into about 15, which included some directors and whatnot, that I had no intention of necessarily being in this meeting. Now, the good news, the good part of that is that what that says is my meeting, at least the topic of my meeting, was of interest. Though anybody could have declined. They joined. They were either available or, what's more important is they were interested. And in fact, I got a lot more insight and value out of that meeting because of these, call them surprise attendees, than I would have with the couple attendees that I had originally invited. So it turned out to be great, even though it was terrifying, and that I thought I had, really kind of got thrown this calendar on all these people, thrown this meeting on all these people's calendars. But it ended up being great. So it's a work out loud kind of concept, right? Everybody in the team is aware of it, is open to join it. If you're looking for a meeting where you only want a couple of people, you probably need to do it a different way, or create a title that makes it very clear: optional, do not attend, or this. I've done that. I've had titles that said this is just for Mark and Susie. But again, if you like that work out loud concept, you like the idea of people coming in that you may not have invited, this is great. So that's a short and then the last thing I'll say about the channel meeting, it really gives you all the bells and whistles of your team's experience in that meeting. You may have been in other meetings, especially that have external people, where your chat seems like it's a lot of things are turned off. You can't share files or apps and things like that. And that makes sense, because teams are saying, hey, I got people in this meeting that I don't know. You're not getting the full experience. The channel meeting, everybody can see everything and all the files and all the stuff. Okay. I see in the chat that yes, Dan had the same experience, getting 150 people in a meeting that he hadn't intended. So good stuff. So let me get out of this. Where am I? Get out of this meeting. All right. So I leave that. So that's that channel. That's the channel meeting concept, and trying to fix something that potentially for you has been at least a head scratcher, and maybe really ease some friction for use of meetings and teams. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, just because it came up this week too, and so I've got this. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Over on my site, let's see how well search works, because it's called Changing Lanes. Yep. So I have this little 5-parter here called Changing Your Lanes in Microsoft Teams. And with lanes, what I mean is it's really just 5 tips related to Teams. Linking to your chats. I got some video demos there. Some other things. The one I wanted to talk about, though, because it came up this week, is just I want to reinforce this: archiving or hiding your chats. What do you mean by that? If I go back over here, especially today, you may, if you go into your chats, you may look around and realize you've got a lot of stuff here in the recents area. And just like an email inbox, one could argue the inbox was not meant to store all of your thousands of old emails. Ideally, You are processing emails as they come in, and you're acting on them. You're moving them to files. You're deleting stuff that you've acted on, or at least archiving them. And I try to be a zero inbox kind of person. So maybe this is where this is coming from. You can be the type of person that lets 10,000 emails sit in your inbox, or not. I'm kind of going with the not version here. So you can be someone who lets this recent list be every single chat that you have been a part of. But I would suggest that you should be cleaning this up and keeping it nice and succinct, because what happens here is even a meeting like this one, let's say this had some stuff in it, but any meeting you're on, the first time anyone sends even one chat, it's going to show up in your list, even if they just said hi, right, or something. And so now it's just, in my opinion, it's just cluttering this thing up. So when I come in here, I like to hide them and start cleaning this thing up. As you can see, it took it off there. I didn't delete it. I hid it. It is still there. In fact, if I should have tried to remember what that meeting was called. I think it was poll question meeting, actually. I clicked that. There it is, right back again. It's not gone. It can be found through search. And of course, being that that's a meeting, if I could figure out where, let me see what date this was on. This was on March 12th. So not only is it visible from search, but if I go back to March 12th, I can get there too, right? 12th. And the poll question and chat with participants, it's the same, would be the same thing, right? So you're hiding your chats. You don't have to worry about the fact that they're gone or deleted or anything, but they are being taken out of this list. And I just feel like this list should be, something that you really do need to come back to later, and shouldn't just be, a meeting sitting in here with just one chat. I mean, that's just taking up, I don't know, that's just taking up mental space for me. So hide your chats, clean this up. I got my pinned ones up here, but this list can get super long. You should just start to hide them. If I chat with someone, let's say I chat with Joanna, and I don't chat with her often. Looks like I haven't, in this case, haven't chatted with her at all. We say our thing. If I'm just talking with her, especially a user that I rarely chat with a lot, Joanna should not get top billing. I mean, I like you, Joanna, but you just shouldn't get top billing in my recent chats area. So I'm going to say what I need to say to you. We do our thing, and then I'm going to pretty much immediately hide that. I mean, unless I feel like I'm going to follow up with you very soon or something like that. But if we did our thing, I'm going to hide that. And so it's gone from my view, but certainly that chat's still there. And if she does add another, respond again to that, it's going to pop back up, all as well. So hiding is really just about cleaning it up. And I really just think this should just be a clean area. So, but I call that out because I feel like people just don't use that very much. And I think they should. I think you should. All right. So that is the chat concept, or chat hiding concept. So those were two things from this week. Gotta figure out about that one. Two things from this very week that came up for me and my customers, that figured out how to. I had known about the other one. But the edit settings one to me is the most solid fix that I found, that doesn't involve talking to your end users about what they need to do, which they shouldn't have to do anything. And then this chat piece, I was doing a little more cleanup in my own chats, and recognizing that I was properly hiding chats from people who I just needed to say a couple things to. So those are two good things to keep in mind. So that's what this channel is, or this stream and a lot of my YouTube channel are really about. It's not always some fancy advanced, crazy Teams thing. It's about good best practices for your everyday use of Teams. If this is the platform, the medium that we're going to be in all day, the same way we are like with Outlook, then you want to be good at it. We got good Outlook etiquette and hygiene, so we should have good Teams hygiene, good Teams best practices. All right. So glad you woke up in the morning with me. Glad you had your coffee, get your day started, and hope that was helpful. And I'll see you on the next Q for Teams. Sorry, Coffee for Teams. I got too many webinars going on. All right, Q for Teams, though, that's on Friday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, aka.ms/Qt4Teams. But this is Coffee for Teams. So I will see you next time.